New York, it's Get Off My Lawn with Gavin McInnes.
Here's the deal with fat people. Some of them are born that way. A very tiny percentage, however. You want to know how many? The way it was in the 70s and the early 80s when you had a fat friend. I got a lot of fat friends. Fat people are some of my best people. But you have to concede that if you represent the majority of fat people, let's say 95%, you're dying. And you're choosing to be dying. So there's going to be some cultural backlash to that, just like heroin addicts, just like smokers. If you're a natural fat, sorry, it sucks to be you. But for the most part, when you're getting like this, you're dying. And I talked to surgeons, by the way, who tell me that back in the 80s, you had one crazy chair for fat people, and they had it custom made by a welder, and it could handle 800 pounds. They go, now, and we had one per hospital, now that's the normal chair. Now they have to recut door sizes on hospital rooms. They had to redo beds. They don't know how to stitch up fat people. Because you cut the skin, you burn through the fat, you do the operation, now you can't stitch them up because the split fat is always sort of pushing, and when you sew it, you rip the sutures out. So, if you are fat, it's a free country. You're messing up hospitals, but I don't hate you and we don't want you to die. But you're not a victim. You're not black. You're not paralyzed. You're not handicapped. You're not blind or deaf. You are a fried chicken addict. Look at this tweet. You know Sophie Hagen? She's like a Dutch comedian that's big in Britain now. On behalf of all fat people, F plane seats, F cinema seats, F theater. Why are you mad at chairs for making you fat? And why are you mad at capitalism for judging what a normal butt is and designing seats accordingly? If an airline made all fat people seats, which they probably soon will have to do, they'd lose customers. They'd lose money. You're talking about altering all of society on your behalf. I'm just a big girl in a small world. Yeah, well, it's a small world. You're not going to change it. Anyway, check out this video. This blonde fat woman has a pretty good attitude about it.
Well, believe it or not, I'm classed as morbidly obese.
I'll be honest, the last time I was naked in front of this many guys and girls, that didn't work out well.
Fat bitch, fat C-U-N-T.
Okay, just wait for a second. Yes, you've been insulted. This is another thing you see with black people. We're all insulted all the time. I'm sorry it happens to you. Sometimes it's by a little kid. On Twitter, it could be a 12-year-old. It's not indicative of society trying to hurt you. And, by the way, you know that all those insults that she was getting are from other women. We don't usually do that. We don't really care.
Bitch.
Hey, look at the fat bastard.
Bin bag full of turds. That's always been my personal favourite.
Being bullied for my weight, yes, it did hurt.
I do care that people call me fat, because obviously you wouldn't go up to someone in a wheelchair and say, oh, you're in a wheelchair.
If someone calls
Let's
me
just pause
fat,
it. You're not in a wheelchair. You're obese. It's your fault. You had too much fried chicken. And by the way, I've been going to Britain my whole life, and I definitely remember the same time you started seeing KFC joints, which is like 20 years ago, is when the epidemic just started happening. It's fried chicken.
why let it bother me? Because I am.
My weight is about 22 stone.
My weight is currently just under 20 stone.
The last time I weighed myself, I was about 27.
Just pause it for a second. Did you catch that? She is fat. She made a choice. I'm going to prioritize food. I think a lot of women have been molested, and they eat as a way to make themselves unattractive. You know how guys with facial tattoos were always molested by their dad? I think a lot of these girls have had some sort of sexual trauma, and they're trying to make themselves unattractive, and she's doing a great job. By the way, Britain, stones? You're still measuring in stones? You may want to update your metric system there. I weigh about as much as a bunch of stones. How many gallons do you weigh? 27 stone is about 300 it's almost 400 pounds, like 380 pounds. That's a lot.
I fell pregnant at the age of 16. My boyfriend at the time, he left me.
2 brothers and sisters, they used to call me Fatty Fatty Bum Bum, who ate all the pies. All that made me do was go for the packet of crisps or
Oh,
the
just
chocolate bar.
pause it there. This is a common thing with fatties where they say, you know, when you insult me, all it does is make me eat more. Yeah, I'm not insulting you to help you lose weight. I'm insulting you because I'm mean. There's no agenda there. We're not working together. The fact that you can go poo your pants after I insult you, I don't care. All you're doing is making me eat more. Good, fatty bum bum.
I'd come for eating, and I went up from a size 12 to a size 28.
I got pregnant and my
in about a
boyfriend
month
left
and a
me.
half.
Why'd you
Maybe
get
I'd eat
pregnant?
like a whole box of cakes and then I feel angry at myself for doing that.
Yeah.
Then I'd eat again.
I used to go and buy the 24 pack of Cadbury's cream eggs, and I would eat them all.
Oh, did you hear
I'm
that?
under no illusions as to why I'm fat.
There
I
we
like
go.
donuts.
I quite like pizza.
My favourite food, it's got to be like lasagna, I think.
A big jar of chocolate.
By the way, can you just pause it? What the hell is going on here? What is this video? It's the beginning. It starts out saying, you know, people think I'm fat. They make up funny names for me. By the way, everyone has a funny name. I know a woman who's 35. She farted in grade school, and she's been known as Fardo ever since, to this day. There's a guy on Metro North who collects the tickets. His name is Paint Chips because he's so stupid. And he's like, hi, I'm Paint Chips. That's just a normal thing. Half of my friends I only know as nicknames. In fact, I used to hang out with a guy named Fat Peter because he weighed about this much. So the first half is I'm fat, and the second half is here's all the things I stuff in my face to make me fat. Yeah, I know. This is a duvet, by the way.
cake.
Not this. This
Nugget.
is Scarface.
But you can't get 6, you've got to get 20.
The serving suggestion of 6 people. 6 people? No, what? Just me?
I just like food.
That is what makes me happy.
I just like
Obviously,
food.
being a fitness instructor, you see these people walk in and they kind of look around.
Just
sort of
pause
figure
it there. She's a fitness instructor. This is the one who eats 24 Cadbury eggs. You ever eaten a Cadbury egg? It's like enough candy for a week. Like you eat it and you go, oh, this is good. I mean, it's yummy. But by the time you're halfway through, you're like, I think we're good here. I've been eating chocolate for an hour. Do that 24 times. I don't think you could. You'd be like Paul Newman in that movie where he's got to eat all the eggs. I don't think you could eat 26 Cadbury eggs. That's a talent.
who the instructor is, and then they look at you.
She's a
and they're like,
fitness instructor?
oh,
I do take more of a bus seat up than a normal sized person would.
just because I'm a big girl doesn't mean I can't be
Yeah, it
active,
does.
and it doesn't mean that you have the right to judge me based on what I look
Okay,
like.
this is a common thing they say. They go, you don't know how fit I am when someone weighs 300 pounds. Bull. I know exactly how fit you are. You're 378 pounds fit. You're 27 stones fit. There's no way someone is jogging and working out and is still a huge obese person. That's just a straight up lie. Go ahead.
You know, the whole body and all of your experiences all kind of lead you up to where you are today. And then if you could change yourself, then all of that kind of history isn't present in your body.
I'm not saying I'm proud to be fat. All
Good.
I'm here for is to sit here and say, you live your life how you want to live it.
I think we all have an ideal body, and this isn't my ideal body, but it's my body.
Why are we judging each other's bodies? Why can't we just be happy for each other?
Okay, I'm going to end there. Why are we judging each other's bodies? Because it's a natural instinct. Why are we attracted to beauty in the first place? We're attracted to fit women with childbearing hips, by the way, because we want to breed. There's a normal instinct to not be attracted to someone who is dying. Sorry, do you get horny when you see a junkie on the streets going and doing that thing where they think they're a tripod and they can fall asleep and stand at the same time? No, because you go, there's a dying person. I don't want to have a baby with that person. She, meanwhile, is having babies with her boyfriend who's not going to stick around. All right. Obviously, if someone is self-indulgent and overeats, as they all just admitted they were, you're going to have a self-indulgent person. What do self-indulgent people do? They complain about their lot in life and blame other people. So now, fat people are basically slaves, and it's the year 1876. Check this out.
The old joke goes, patient walks into the doctor's office, says, "Doctor, it hurts when I move my arm like this. What should I do?"
I wasn't
and the
Zeke
doctor
Heiling.
says, "So don't move your arm like that." Now, Fat girl walks into doctor's office, says, "Doctor, it hurts when I move my arm like this. What should I do?" And the doctor says, "Have you considered weight loss surgery?"
Can you just
Fat
pause it?
girl.
What's the matter with the doctor caring about you? And by the way, the original joke, it was never a fat girl. It's just a person. You made it into a fat girl. And this whole diatribe she's about to go on is about how doctors won't shut up about her weight. The doctor's job is to prevent you from dying. You're dying. And weight loss surgery, by the way, would be perfect for you. You know that surgeon I was talking about when I said that his whole career has changed drastically in the past 15 years? He told me that if the government paid for gastric bypasses, for weight loss surgery, where they shrink your stomach down, the government provided them for free, we would be financially ahead. He made a libertarian argument for the government giving free weight loss surgery because it is so expensive dealing with all these fat people. And I had it's a long story, but I fell on a fire nude, so I had to have my butt cheeks treated. And I'm sitting in the emergency room, which I'm in like once every 5 years. I never go to the doctor. And every single person there was fat. They had these big, huge chairs in the waiting room, and they were filled with fat people, and they couldn't fit in the normal chairs, so they would just sit on their giant legs that looked like caterpillars, these big, fat tubes. And it wasn't uncomfortable for them because they're just sitting on their bodies or pillows. And they were all, one woman was playing video games on her tits because her tits came straight out like this so she could rest on it like a table, and she was my age. And she was just complaining about how the doctor said he was going to fix her weeping sores, and she gave him this medication and it didn't work, so she's all pissed that he screwed up with her sores. No, you screwed up. All right, go ahead. Listen to how often this woman goes to the doctor.
Walks into the doctor for a flu shot and gets a lecture about BMI. Fat girl walks into the doctor's with an earache and gets asked if she's ever eaten a salad. Fat girl walks into the doctor's office with a spider bite, and the doctor obsesses over how low her blood pressure is.
How often do you go to the doctor? Sounds like you're there every week. And who goes to the doctor for a spider bite? It would have to be brutally infected before you're going to check yourself into ER. I've been bitten by a spider. Unless you're in Africa, no one cares if you got bitten by a spider. And by the way, you know what this woman's mad at? Reality. She's mad at facts. And you see this too when women get older. I remember a friend of mine, she was like 35, and she said, I went to the doctor, and he said, I'm getting kind of old to have a baby. And he said he's worried about me if I ever want to have kids. Can you believe how sexist he is? I'm like, I think you're mad at God. I think God is the sexist one in this story. He's just telling you details about your ovaries. This doctor is clearly telling her that she's dying and how to save her life. Go ahead. This is tedious.
Low for such a fat person anyway. Insists on checking it 3 times before he'll believe it. Forgets completely about the mass of purple spider venom that brought her here to begin with.
Purple
Fat
spider
girl
venom?
walks into the doctor's to ask about antidepressants and gets prescribed exercise instead because obviously her depression is because of her fat.
Yeah.
And obviously fat bodies never exercise and stay
Yeah.
fat. Fat girl walks into the doctor's office for a standard 3-month follow-up appointment, and the doctor says, have you considered that weight loss surgery yet?
Can you believe this?
Gets tired of constantly being diagnosed as fat. So fat girl stops walking into the doctor's office. Fat girl walks into the world and says, world, it hurts to exist like this. And the world says, so stop existing like that. Fat girl walks through a world that would rather she slice herself open than to exist as she does. Side effects.
Yeah, what's the matter
Fat
with that?
girl walks through a world overrun.
Everything
with
this world is telling you is
doctors
perfectly
who claim to be
logical.
concerned about her.
You're
health.
dying.
Side effects be damned. Fat
You're
girl
going to
walks
die.
into the world and still
The guy on my
somehow
600-pound
manages
life
to
is
love
dead.
Her fat body. And the world says, stop glorifying obesity. Fat girl walks into the world
All right, I've had
and
enough for
says,
her. I need an antidepressant after hearing about that. And it doesn't involve weight loss. It involves booze. All right, let's do one more. This is a woman who, I don't know, she's so obese, this next video, that I'm worried that it's natural.
When I first appeared on stage, what was your perception of me?
Just pause. I'll tell you my perception of you. Balloon at a children's party. You look like you were twisted into shape by a clown. No, but seriously, folks, those arms are so turgid, she looks like sausage casing. I think this might be one of the few cases where she can't help it. She has a disease, a thyroid, whatever, and she's going to sit here and complain about weight bias. And to her, I say, look, I'm sorry if you are magically like that and there's nothing you can do and it's not from fried chicken or exercise, but you represent a fraction of the fat people. And we were living in an obesity epidemic where there's 500,000 obesity-related deaths per year. We're concerned about it as a culture. We don't deride them. We don't deprive them of jobs. That's illegal. But we say, hey, I'm not going to ignore the fact that you're killing yourself. And if you're innocent, sorry, collateral damage, chubby. Go ahead.
Lazy, disgusting, perhaps depressed, unmotivated, unhealthy.
Yes.
Based on my appearance, it's usually assumed that I'm lazy and unhealthy, that my weight and
well,
my
that's because it's true most of the
are
time.
Self-inflicted. That's not true, but often I don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, those stereotypical perceptions that pop in people's minds when they see someone affected by obesity, that's weight bias.
Weight bias. Can you just pause it here? You see what's happening. Everyone wants to be black because it's the ultimate victim. If you're black, you got a pass. You can bitch about slavery all the time. It's cool to be black. Ask Rachel Dolezal, ask Sean King. But not everyone wants to sit there and give themselves an afro. So they just eat themselves into blackness. And now you're a civil rights crusader fighting against weight bias. Go ahead. I'm getting sick of this. And I'm hot.
Opinion of me, you know, like the
It's
one
very hot being fat.
who once made fun of my cankles might hurt my feelings. But weight bias that I've experienced in healthcare has hurt me physically. When doctors and nurses have the perception that I'm lazy and unmotivated and non-compliant, that influences the care they provide and then has a negative impact on my health.
You have a negative impact on your health. All right, I've had enough. You know, I don't think anyone is a victim in 2018. I don't think black people have the right to complain about racism. I don't think gays have the right to complain about homophobia. I think there is equal bias across the board from white, black, everything. In other words, racism evens itself out and it's no longer a thing. Bigotry isn't a thing. Nazis aren't a thing. You are being lied to about biases in America today. But if there's one person who's at the bottom of the list when it comes to complaining, it's these people in blackface, basically, in fried chicken-induced blackface, complaining about their lot in life. Come on!
Also on the TikTok news, Bobby Kelly. I don't know if you saw the entire show on Wednesday before I showed up, but Bobby Kelly sat down in the chair and the little footrest just went kung and broke off, and he just goes, these fucking garbage chairs, these cheap bullshit chairs, which I think is what fat people do when they break a chair. They bitch about how stupid and cheap the chair is. Now, Anthony's had Big A over at his house quite a bit and has lost $4,000 of chairs, and he's not a fan of fat people wrecking his chairs. In fact, I heard him say about Big A, he goes, how is that different than a junkie borrowing my car and wrecking it? He's addicted to food, and he wrecked my beautiful chair. And Anthony's a zip, so he's got like these ornate chairs with all the floral wood and the red velvet. Everything looks like a king's throne, even the thing you have a burrito on. So Bobby Kelly came and broke. He just said the chairs suck, and Anthony goes, really? I mean, we've had them for 7 years. They've sucked all this time. And he goes, yeah, exactly, 7 years. They're old. They're garbage. How about an apology? I'm so fat that I broke a chair. Anyway, Bobby Kelly made this video the day after breaking Anthony's chair, where he actually blames the chair.
Yes, chairs. Let's talk about chairs. Full pun intended, chairs are the biggest fucking issue in the fat community. The amount of public spaces like doctors' offices, malls, what the fuck ever, places that have seating, restaurants, etc., never, ever have accessible seating. Some places just have stools, or some places just have armed, small, dinky-looking chairs. As a fat person, if you have ever done the following things.
Hold on.
If you have
You chose to be fat. This is the elephant in the room when it comes to gigantic fat pigs. You're in blackface and you're complaining about racism. I'm a drunk. If I was going somewhere, I would have to inquire to see if they had booze. If they don't, I'll bring my own bottle, or if the booze is prohibitively expensive, like it was on vacation this summer, $22 a Makers, I'll bring my own Makers. I'll buy it at duty free. I can't complain about that. That's my self-indulgence. The fact that you can turn your obesity into some sort of genetic curse and then get mad at everyone for not acquiescing into your obesity, it's the kind of thing that lazy fat pigs do. I mean, obviously you're self-indulgent. We have eyeballs.
Ever looked at a picture of a restaurant on Google Maps to try and figure out if the seating would be accessible to your size? If you've never broken a chair in a public space, especially.
I've never broken a chair. Have you, Ryan?
Never had.
Yeah, I think so. But not due to fatness, I don't think.
To second guess whether or not it was okay to sit down in the chairs provided to you. If you've never had a fucking panic attack at school because you couldn't fit into the goddamn chair desk situation, then you don't deal with fat phobia at the same level that the rest of us do.
Okay.
And this is just one example.
I'm
there
done.
are a plethora
Yes.
of other examples.
I officially don't deal with fat phobia at the same level the rest of you do. Correct.
You know who
Next.
else? You know who else has to deal with struggling things with their body?
What?
You don't understand the benefits of being a normal person until you look at someone like me who, can't buy clothes off the shelf.
Well, this is exactly the same.
They have the same problem.
Normal places to eat. Can't ride in certain size cars. Can't ride in certain size airplane seats. Going to hotels overseas, staying in small beds, trying to fit in small showers.
You purposely made yourself way bigger than everyone else in both cases. Look at his face freaking out like he's going into a pile of broken glass. It's called water, dude. Oh, here we go.
Like he's superhuman about to jump on fluorescent light bulbs.
Juggalos. I'm about to get water all over my face. Oh yeah, juggalos.
What did he say? Fuck this shit. And then he does it.
Juggalos and juggalettes.
Yeah.